Hey everybody, my name is Jordan Evans, and today I'm making a follow-up video to a video I made a number of months ago, and it was about digital minimalism and how I'm going to use my phone less. And I'm just here to tell you it went terribly. I failed so bad, and I'm right back into all my own ways. And I've been doing a lot of reflecting the last couple days about what I need to be changing, how to improve my life, and this is it. So I'm making a video to kind of update you guys and just to let you know I am quitting all of social media, almost all. So at first, I was doing excellent. I think I made it back in maybe December or January. I can't quite remember. Probably January. And I was working full-time at Starbucks at the time as I was one of the shift supervisors there. So that was a very busy job. And I was teaching lessons a lot at the time too. So I was never even had a chance to be on my phone. So when I first did it, it was super easy for me to maintain the standards that I'd set for myself because for 8 hours a day, I was at work and not even on my phone at all. And then I was teaching lessons in the afternoon. So it makes it really, really easy when you're occupied with other things to keep up with some good habits. Whereas when I left Starbucks back in the end of February, I found myself immediately falling back into these habits gradually. It took a while, and here we are in March, and I am just right back to where I started. Here was the ultimate chasm of where it all went wrong, and it was when I installed TikTok. So I originally made my TikTok because someone who I teach piano lessons for was telling me about how she makes TikTok videos for her business and how successful it's been. And some of her videos have had 500,000 views, and she makes bath bombs and sells them online, and she's been getting tons of sales from them. And I was like, whoa, TikTok, that sounds awesome. So I got TikTok, planning on making videos for myself with like short piano lessons and stuff. And then it just became this terrible spiral of a TikTok addiction. And if you guys have ever had TikTok, you know exactly what I mean. And this is really the danger of social media and why I need to just remove myself from it, because they create these things and they have algorithms to know exactly what you want, exactly the things you're interested in, because it's their goal to keep you on the app as long as possible because they create more revenue the longer your eyes are on the app. So within a couple of weeks, my TikTok, which I wasn't really using that much at first, is showing me Star Wars content and Marvel content and music content and just stuff that's perfectly made for me, so that anytime I want a release or life is hard or I'm struggling with something, I can just check TikTok and remove myself from the situation, and I'm seeing all this content that I like and is funny and creative, and I realize now that I have to put a stop to it. All right, so I'm cutting the cord and just kind of going through the things that I've struggled with. Facebook has never been an issue. I got rid of Facebook a long time ago because I don't see any purpose in having that. There's really nothing productive happening on Facebook, so I haven't had that on my phone in a long time. Snapchat, deleted. Any streaming service that I had, deleted. I had AMC and a couple others on my phone. I was watching The Walking Dead on AMC. What else did I have? I think I had Amazon Prime because I just watched that show Invincible. Gone. Anything that you can stream stuff on, off the phone. What's the other one? YouTube. I got rid of my premium YouTube subscription, so now if I want to watch videos, there's going to be ads. I think that's everything. But yeah, so I totally cleared all those things off my phone. Snapchat's gone. I don't know if I said that. The one exception, Instagram, but it's on thin ice. So I pretty much unfollowed everybody. I mean, I unfollowed like 1,000 people this last week just because I wanted to create an Instagram page with the people I follow or the people that I'm actually feel close with and I'm interested in seeing their stuff. So I unfollowed like anybody who I've just met in passing or kind of knew through a friend. I just unfollowed everybody. It was challenging, but I feel better about my Instagram now, and that's not as much a distraction because now when I look at stories at the top, I only have like 6 stories to look at and then it's done. So, but it's on thin ice. If I find myself going to that Instagram for you page and using that, that's going to be deleted too. And the only reason I decided to keep it is so I have a way of keeping in touch with people. So if for whatever reason I need to message someone or get in touch with someone and I don't have their phone number, or if they need to get in touch with me, I still have a little bit of existence in the world. Mark my words, if it comes a chance where I'm sitting on Instagram for half an hour at a time, gone. In one of my favorite books, The War on Art by Stephen Pressfield, he talks about resistance, and it's this terrible urge inside all of us, especially creative people, that anytime things get hard, we as humans will take the path of least resistance. So a lot of the book is talking about setting up your day in order to alleviate any resistance possible. Make it easier to do the hard things than to do the easy things. And so all this phone is doing is it's creating this ultimate source of resistance. Anytime I'm studying something and it gets hard, or I'm practicing piano, it gets hard, or I want to make a YouTube video but I don't feel like it, or I want to exercise, I could say, oh, I'll do that in an hour. Let's just watch some TikToks. Not even an hour. I'll say, oh, I'll do that in 5 minutes. I'll watch some TikToks. And that's when half an hour goes by. And I'm really sick of living my life like that, feeling like I'm not in control. And I just give in to these whims because I don't feel like doing it. And so for myself, I need to cut out any kind of resistance or anything that's going to be taking precedence over what I need to do. And this doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me or there's anything wrong with you. This is just human nature. It's been happening forever. If we have something that can distract us from what's challenging, that's what we're going to gravitate towards. All right, so here's my 3 big reasons for why I'm doing this and why I felt such a big need to make this video and why I made the last video. The first one is I'm trying to cut out any resistance I have. I want to make it as easy as possible to get the things done that I want to do, whether they're hard or easy, and I'll talk more about those kind of things later. The second one is I want to be bored and cultivate creativity. So being bored is actually awesome. It's being bored just means you're doing something that isn't valuing you right now. It was more important back when we actually had to hunt our food, and it was how we spent our time was extremely important for survival, whereas now we can eat whatever we want and sleep whenever we want and whatever. So our boredom is less of a necessity because we can always be stimulating ourselves with something. But when we're bored is actually when time seems to pass the slowest and we get the most creative. So right now, if my mind is always being filled with something else, if I'm always watching a YouTube video, or if I can just go on TikTok and fill my mind with things, there's never time for output. I need time where I'm bored and I can be thinking about the things that I want to create, or my future, or what I want to plan on for my family, or spend time organizing my life, those kind of things. And then the third and final one is being present. I really don't want to be someone who's ever on my mobile device, whether I'm around my wife or around my family. And it's just what I've kind of done because it's easy. I mean, it is so entertaining and numbing to just go on your phone and scroll through things that really have no meaning or any importance at all. So when I'm around my friends or my wife, or even home alone, I want to be present in that moment and not someone who's just killing the time. So this is a really big myth, and I think this is why it's challenging for so many people to disconnect or even spend time away from their phone, because we feel like everything is so urgent. And I really fear for the new generation who doesn't remember what it was like before. So I got my first smartphone when I was maybe 17 or 18. So it was I pretty much lived most of my life without one, whereas the kids now, they don't know anything different. But back then, life just moved so much slower. Things weren't as urgent as they are now. And so I think we need to normalize what it's like to not always be accessible, especially for people with bosses at work who always feel like they can email their employees, or they can always call or get in touch with their employees. It's totally normal to spend a whole day without your phone and feel like there's nothing urgent, or that you're not going to miss out on what your friends are posting on Facebook or Instagram, because those things really don't matter. We need to start finding ways to just be apart from our phone without feeling like we're missing something or missing out on things. All right, the things that I want to prioritize, and which is why I'm making this change in my life and really thinking about what I need to do, is meaningful conversation. So whether I'm with my wife or my parents or my friends, anybody, I want to have really meaningful conversations that aren't interrupted by phone stuff or things that don't matter, which I'm not saying that that's always bad. That's actually cool, and sharing those resources with each other and having a good laugh, that's great. But for the most part, I want to be someone who's talking about real things, real life, and present in the moment. Reading more. I used to love reading, and this goes for reading fiction, like development books, or even my Bible. What's so crazy is scrolling on TikTok is so much more enjoyable than reading, that you're getting these instant dopamine hits. I found that my attention span is gone. When I'm reading a book now, I just get bored so quickly or disinterested if the book isn't in an exciting part, and I hate that about myself. So I want to start training myself to not be that way. So it might stink at first, but I'm going to start practicing reading again, and just putting myself in environments where my brain feels stretched, and I want to start building my attention span back up. Exercise. I want to start exercising more, which I'm not terrible at it right now, but there's lots of days where I don't feel like going for a run, or I don't feel like doing something active, or taking my dog on a walk, or just anything like that. And I'll watch a YouTube video instead, because that's easier to do. Or even when I am exercising, not feeling the need to listen to music or listen to a podcast, really just be present with my thoughts and how my body feels and what kind of just emotions come through exercising, being present with those feelings. And finally, my work, being present with my work. So a lot of times, especially when I'm practicing piano, anyone who practices or studies knows the pain of encountering something challenging. And that's resistance. That is the pinnacle of resistance. If you're learning a piece of music and it starts getting hard, or you're studying something and it gets hard, you want to just, I'll scroll TikTok for a minute. Not only are you removing yourself from that workflow, but you're not learning what you're supposed to be learning. It's going to kind of take away from what you were doing, but it's just a massive waste of time. So some days I might practice piano for 2 hours, but I was only really active in my mind for an hour and 15 minutes, but I feel like I practiced for 2 hours. So all that stuff, gone, removing that from my life. My ultimate goal with this is to slow down, to really cherish moments. It's just something about having our phone with us and being able to access information immediately and seeing everything around the world that makes time go by so fast. I really miss being a kid and going out and playing by the creek or out in the woods and just doing whatever I wanted to do without a worry in the world or feeling like I needed to be doing something else, or playing with Legos, or even when I was younger and first got my drum set, and I would just play for hours and hours and hours, and I wasn't worried about anything else because there was nothing else to distract me. That was my only focus that I was working on, and I want to try and recreate that feeling in myself and others around me, because I think that's very rare, and I think it's something that we're forgetting how to do. These are some red flags that I found within myself that I'm just going to talk about. And if you're thinking about maybe should I delete social media, maybe should I limit my phone usage, these are some red flags that you might want to think about. All right, the first thing is just not getting done your responsibilities. So if you're someone who has a lot of things to do, or you have responsibilities, whether that's with work or with your family or with your personal goals or your fitness, anything like that you want to do, and you're not getting those done, and you feel like your phone is a hindrance to you doing that, or being on the internet or social media, I sound so old, that might be a sign that it's time to cut back on that. Feeling anxiety or the FOMO if you're not around your phone. So if you feel like you're missing out on something, that is a sign that you're spending way too much time and making that phone a priority versus being just present in the moment. All right, and finally, and this one's tough, but feeling angry about the things that you're seeing. So as humans, it's really important for us to be aware of what's going on and to be actively making a difference in our community and for those around us. But there comes a point where humans were only made to bring in so much information. We live in our community, whereas there's an entire world with events going on. So if you feel like you're just getting angry all the time, whether that's what people are doing, or you feel envious of other people, or other people's actions make you feel angry, and it's in a way that you can't control yourself anymore, that could be a sign that this is something that's getting out of control. By no means am I saying don't be involved, don't look at what's going on around the world, but there has to be a balance between your own sanity and being involved in that. Just to paraphrase, if you find yourself getting angry by these things, it might be time to cut it out of your life if it's to a point where it's affecting your present moment and your interactions with your family or your work. So I think one of the biggest things that tripped me up the first time was just my hubris around this. A couple months ago was the first time I'd ever tried to say, I'm just going to limit what I'm doing on my phone. It'll be easy. But I realized how addicted I was within a couple of weeks and even a couple months when I found that it was something I wanted to do and then something I couldn't stop doing. And anytime I was bored or before I go to bed or right when I wake up, I find myself scrolling. And that's just not who I want to be. And so I realized that this is an addiction that I'm going to have to make efforts to break. And if I can't, this is just me trying to do it on my own. If this isn't successful, I might have to ask my wife to help me out, say if you see me, or even putting parameters on my phone that I don't have the password for, whether that's my Instagram is only up for 30 minutes a day, so that way I can still have it, but someone else has the password for when the time's up, so I can't get on it anymore. Or even setting my phone up where only essential apps, whether it's my phone or my messages and my map, are up for most of the day. And that's just going to be worst case scenario. If I can't discipline myself, someone else is going to have to come in and help me out. Which, gosh, even just saying that, I would love to have a flip phone that just had messaging and calling on it for a little bit. But we live in a world now where with email and with maps, it's just really impossible to do. So for right now, this is going to be my first step, and it's all gone. TikTok's gone, deleted. And I'm really going to try and take back my life in the next couple weeks and in the next couple months. I'll make an update video soon. If you guys have any thoughts on this, because it is a challenging topic, there's different ways to approach it. If you have social media, if you use Facebook, not a bad thing. It's just not for me right now. So let me know what you think. Let me know the kind of struggles that you have. And I look forward to seeing what you have to say. And thank you so much for watching this video, and best of luck.